Hey, how's it going? Okay, good. So today we are going to talk a little bit about a quick and easy way to release stress and tension within the body. And this is about as simple as a way that I know of, but it's highly effective. And if you've been following along with me, it's something that we are doing all the time. So it's just a little bit more of isolating the same principles that we've been using it, but just isolating it to a certain area. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into Wuji to start with. Good, so take that big deep breath. So hang the bones, sink the flesh. Those that have been with me for a while, you probably know all this back and forth. So just get yourself into your posture. Take a couple moments just to settle yourself. And hopefully it should be starting to feel pretty natural right now, getting into this posture. If you just joined me, this is your first video, then I have lots of videos about doing the Wuji practice. And so just go ahead and check those out when you have time. So here we are, a couple more breaths. Remember that we are breathing and allowing that balloon that's in the belly, expanding that balloon, so we're allowing the air. We should feel it here. We are really trying to get away from chest breathing. So we don't want to be breathing from the chest. We want to bring that breath down as low as we can so we get nice and rooted and grounded. Good. So as we're in this posture, I'm going to talk a little bit about what we're about to do. So throughout our lives, we have a tendency to hold stress, anxiety, tension, trauma, and we hold it in our bodies. I think we've all heard that in one shape or another. And I think now it's been scientifically proven that this is not just some woo-woo theory, but it's actually a reality, that we do actually hold memories and trauma, stress within different parts of the body. So whether it's just being, you just got cut off on a freeway 20 minutes ago, or it's something that goes all the way back to your childhood or some early event. It's all something that still resides within in the flesh, within the body. And looking at it from a Taoist perspective, this does not it doesn't reside within the bone structure so much as it resides within the fleshy structure, within the soft tissues, within the fascia, the muscle, and the soft tendons, that kind of thing. So let's begin the process. So we're in our Wuji. I would recommend closing your eyes to really get this, helps you just to concentrate. I'm going to keep mine open just for the sake of the video. So take a couple big deep breaths. So take those big belly breaths and let yourself center in. Good. Remember that we're standing in this circle here. That circle represents your time to give yourself attention, a little bit of self-care, self-love. You deserve to be in this circle right now and to allow all those worries that you have, I know that we all deal with so much, put it on the outside of that circle. You're just sealing it off. This is your time. Be indulgent because it's going to help you in the long run. Good. So just breathing. And I also want to say that in my own practice, if this was just something I was doing that was, helping me for cardio or for my breathing, or I wouldn't really be too involved in doing this. This is something that my whole life is dedicated to this practice and to helping others in their practice. And there has to be a reality to it. And there's so much to Tai Chi Chuan, to Qigong, to this practice, and it really will help us release stuff that we've been holding on for years and years. It will help us go through that process. And it's a different modality. Today we have a ton of modalities of ways of dealing with stress and tension that's being offered to us. We can go through talk therapy, we can do yoga, we can take meds, we can, there's all different ways. And all of this stuff is good. I think it all helps. This is just one more way. And this is a way that uses the body. And it doesn't so much go into the source. It deals more with just day-to-day sensations. So it's a way that we can deal with could be lifelong trauma, but we can do it just through releasing tension through the body, if that makes sense. So we don't need to spend 20 years on the couch talking about our mothers and all this stuff. We can just go through and release energy in the body, and we can get to the same place. For some, it works really well. For other people, they need different kinds of therapy. And again, I'm not poo-pooing any of this, but it's just one more tool out there that we can use. And it's been around for that long that I think it has, there's efficacy to it. So here we are, we're in that breath. So we should feel pretty centered and grounded in our Wuji posture now. Okay. So what I'd like you to do with your eyes closed is to imagine that you have a flashlight, a torch, and you're starting inside of your head. And I want you to imagine that you are starting to look around in your head and asking yourself the question, where am I holding stress, anxiety, trauma, whatever that is? Where am I holding my stress? Where is it? Where do I feel anxious? Perhaps it's in the muscles around your eyes. Maybe it's in the brain. It's a little bit hard to define the pain in the brain, but we're really looking for physical tightness, just discomfort, pain, whatever that is. So check through the head. For me, I have always had pain in my jaw. I've always held tension and stress in my jaw. I used to wake up after sleeping and I would have a tremendous amount of pain all throughout my jaw because I was clenching my teeth at night. And after starting to practice and doing this practice and many others, it's released out and now it's moved. So there could be multiple places within the body where you're feeling this, but let's just do one at a time. So we're going through and we're asking ourselves that question, where am I feeling that stress? Where do I feel that tension? We go down through the entire body, go through the shoulders. Perhaps it's in your shoulders, perhaps it's in the arms, maybe it's in the guts, maybe it's in the legs, maybe in the ankles, maybe in the lower back or along the spine. The two places that I always hold stress was in my jaw and in my lower back. Those were two where it was intense discomfort, pain in my lower back for many, many years. But the first thing we need to do is identify, where is this? And for many of us, we've never considered, well, where are we holding that anxiety and stress? We might not even know it, and so you have to give yourself time. If this is something totally new for you, give yourself time to ponder and to look through, and maybe it won't come immediately, but then you'll start to get a sense. Maybe you just feel your whole body just feels lousy, and that's a good place to start with. Then just do a full body Wuji practice. But let's say that you can isolate it, and let's take the shoulders as an example, okay? So when you go through that with your little flashlight and you say, where am I holding my stress and my tension? Wow, I really feel it in my shoulders. It feels like I'm holding the weight of the world, my family, the mortgage, all this stuff. I'm carrying it. Atlas. So what we're going to do is I want you to identify all of the bones that are affected by that feeling of discomfort, stress, tightness, could be pain, whatever the distinguishers you want to give it. Perhaps it's only one side of your body. Perhaps it's all the way from the tip, from this shoulder, all the way through the bones of the back to this shoulder. Whatever it is, try to get as specific as you can to figure out where exactly am I holding that. Interestingly enough, a lot of times you'll find that it's on one side of the body, and you'll find many things. A lot of times we have injuries on one side of the body as opposed to both sides equally. So this is getting beyond the subject here. So just identify the bones that are involved. So let's say that you feel it from that shoulder all the way through the bone, through the back to this shoulder. All those bones are involved in this sensation. Now what we want to do is identify all of the muscles, the soft tissue that is involved in this as well. So feel all of the muscles that are feeling affected by that discomfort, by that stress. Perhaps some of the muscles are wrapping into the shoulder, they're coming over into the chest. Perhaps you're feeling it going down. So identify all of those, anything that's connected to this sensation that's on those bones. So what we're doing, as with Wu-Ji, we are, seeing the entire body, focusing on the body. Now with this process, we're really zeroing in on that specific area where we have that tension. So in this case, we're specifically narrowed down to just this set of bones, this set of muscles, these tendons. Take as long as you want to do this. Once we've identified them, then we begin the process. So simple breathing. We inhale, feel those bones are floating. Lightness, then hold them in place and exhale and release all of those tendons, the fascia, the muscles that are connected to those bones. If you could allow every other part of your body just to kind of fade away into the distance and just focus upon those specific areas, that specific area of your body. Good. Now this is a process that may take days, weeks, months, but it will start to work. We might have carried trauma within our body for 50, 40 years, and we can't expect it just to be overnight, just to be all of a sudden we're done with it. This has become a part of our lives, a part of even our psyche, and it takes a while to unwind this stuff. And thank God for that, because otherwise, if we just suddenly dumped, we'd end up like a big, ball of jello on the floor quivering. So this process it's natural, slow, and in its own time, that it allows the subconscious to work with the physical body and gradually release as much as it needs to be. Good, so we're just, again, taking that for an example. Maybe you're working on a different part of the body, that's quite all right. So what we're doing is we are uncoupling the bones from the flesh. So we want the bones to hang in the template, and then everything is pulling down. So that stress and anxiety resides within the soft tissues, within the muscles, and so as that draws down, it's separating now it's unhooking from your frame, from the bones. So over the course of times, you're going to allow it to move through the body, down through the legs, and into the ground. I would advise to have a little bit more weight on your front of your feet rather than 50-50 weight. Now, the earth is known as a gigantic yin field. This is not getting too woo-woo, but it likes to absorb energy. When we have a lightning rod, we put the rod into the ground, when lightning strikes, it goes down into the ground. It likes to absorb that energy. In the same way, it will absorb our energy, whether good or bad, it doesn't care. So when we are allowing this to sink on its own accord, we allow it to move. If you want to plant those roots in your feet, allow it to move through and down into those roots and out into the earth. Give it back to the earth. You know, we've been holding on to this for long enough. It's time to let it go. We don't need this anymore in our lives. And what you will begin to notice over time is that the amount of time and energy that we spend holding subconsciously onto a trauma, a stress that's been trapped in the body for that long. We've been holding onto it, gripping onto that. We are allowing ourselves to let go of that and allowing it to move. We're allowing the body to release it and to move it out. So what's going to happen with that? All of this energy that you've been spending holding it together, not even aware that that energy was being wasted. When you begin to let go of it, that energy is going to be brought back into your cycle. So you are going to feel way more animated. You will feel a lot more connected. You're going to feel way more energized than you were. All of a sudden, you'll be feeling waves and waves of more energy and peace and calm. Another thing that might happen that I've had clients have told me, after doing this for a while, waves of intense emotion come. And this is maybe for the deeper stuff, but suddenly the need to start weeping, uncontrollable weeping, maybe just feeling rage, anger. This is just the body, the energy moving itself along and out. It's that simple. And what's kind of cool about this process is that we really don't need to get down into what was the specifics around the event or the things that were happening. We're just letting it go. It's just energy, emotions, it's all energy, and we're just letting it move out through the body. So we don't have to spend time, dealing with the who, what, and where. We're just letting it happen. And then in your own time, again, I want to always, my disclaimer here is that all of the therapies are valid, and especially talk therapy, it's all necessary, and if you need it, then go for it. But this is just one more way that we can, effectively move this stuff. It's a different way of looking at it, okay? So, letting it sink and moving down. Perhaps it has even a certain shape, form, color, a smell even, if you're a visual person, like a sensory person. Identify it as much as you can. Get very clear with what you're working with. And again, you might have it in numerous places of the body, as I had it in my jaw and my lower back. Work on your jaw for a while, then come back later on and work on the lower back. Don't have to do it all at once. Okay, very good. So now we're just going to close out. We're going to bring those hands up as we inhale. And then we exhale, we bring the hands down. Remember, we open Lao Gong. We bring our hands down the center line. Good. And I want you to imagine that we are, or not imagine, but we are actually helping the energy. We're dredging through that qi with our Lao Gong. And we're helping it to move along. Move down, as well as allowing the mind to do its work. So as we come up, open Lao Gong. Exhale down. Maybe this process feels really good for you. And you could spend the whole time just doing, first get into Wuji and then just do this process. Start to help moving it down. Whatever works for you, that's what we do. Again, this is real life. If this stuff doesn't work, then either move on, or there's other paths. So exhale down. and coming back to Wuji. Okay, very good. And last of all, let's just shake it out. Okay, so, ooh, that was a good crack. So we're gonna do our little bit of iron shirt. Whoops, starting a revolution here. Okay. All right, and then going into the hips. Okay, guys, so hopefully that's helpful for you. Leave me some comments if you have any questions. If something starts to happen for you, let me know what's going on, okay? We'll talk to you soon. All right, take care. Bye, guys.